Yeah.
Nick, like that a cigarette?
Yeah. Go ahead. 3, 2, 1. Action. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Julian Kazanis here with the Festival Voice with the incomparable, amazing, and unbelievable Frankie Bones, the one and over. Sorry.
Over there, and there. I don't think you edited that. I think we're keeping it.
The one and only creator of PLUR. All right, let's get this going.
All right, so PLUR, for instance, let's just start it off by saying I think Jesus, Elvis, John F. Kennedy, John Lennon, they were all doing peace, love, unity, respect before I did it. I can't really claim it. People were peaceful before. There was some love, there was some unity, some respect. All right, but in the rave scene, PLUR, okay, as we know it, so in 1990, we designed something called, with Storm Rave, as we were building raves, the Peace, Love, Unity movement. So it was plum, and plum's like a fruit. My grandma used to be like, yo, everything's peachy keen, like, what the hell does that mean, So, like, anyway. So plum being the Peace, Love, Unity movement. Why it was movement and not respect was because in the beginning, the scene didn't need respect because it didn't exist yet. So we were pushing this peace, love, unity movement through Storm Rave, through the raves we were doing. And, when this fight broke out in 1993, July 24th, I remember the date now. I usually don't remember the date. People are like, that's later on. But from 90 to 93, it was plum. And the night the fight broke out, the movement was established in New York. And most of America had a rave scene. So basically, this night in 1993, the R was added as respect rather than movement because the movement was already established. So how I know all of this is because if you go back in the history of the internets, I say internets, I know it's internet. But Hyperreal, which was a online user, it was an internet thing that was around since 1994, I believe. It could be 93 when the internet first started. Nobody was on the internet in 1993, by the way. But Hyperreal, 95, 96, they had a little network with their college friends, and they would talk about raves and promote raves. And then if you look it up, Hyperreal, you'll see 2 definitions of PLUR that come on. The first one's by a young kid who gives me total credit. And then the second one was by this girl, Laura, who ran Hyperreal, I think. And basically, right there and then kind of shut me down. No, Frankie had nothing to do with it. He used to say peace, love, unity, but he never said respect or this and that. And I said, no. What's the girl's name? Laura DeGuest? Well, I don't even know. It's Laura something. You'll see it on there. And I'm coming from you, Laura. All these years later, I wanted to tell you. You remember I gave you that record, Peace, Love, Unity, and it was on From Brooklyn with Love EP. All right, let me slow down. Calm down.
Yeah, calm down, Frankie. You're good.
Peace, Love, Unity is a track. You can look this up on YouTube. It's a track. It's the Storm Rave story. It's like basically 1993. And the first word after the credits says respect to Genlog. Genlog's a group I sampled. So I gave her the record that night. So it says Peace, Love, Unity, big letters. Here's your respect. Stop it. It's me. Thank you. I gave it to Pasquale Rotella, running EDC. Pasquale's done a lot of things for the scene. I'll put the crown right on Pasquale's head. I told him that. So, but anyway, back to PLUR. Yeah, that's the story of PLUR.
So what was this fight exactly? What are the details of this fight, of this particular night?
Okay, so let me just break down what happened this weekend. Okay, so on the Friday night, which was July 23rd, we had Richie Horton and Miss D-Jax playing Caffeine. We booked both of them to play. Richie's plane got delayed in Detroit coming to New York, so he didn't get into New York City until like midnight. Party's already running. There's no cell phones back in the day. You had to get on a landline and get somebody to talk on a landline. So where's Richie? So we're sitting in the office at Caffeine talking to Heather Hart, who's at home. Richie had contacted Heather, said the plane just got on at midnight. Can we move the party up till tomorrow because I don't think I'll make it out. Caffeine's still like an hour and a half away and it was already getting late. So I was like, I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, I can't tell Richie to come if you don't want to come. And he goes, well, he's going to do the party tomorrow night. I was like, but Caffeine does something totally different on Saturday. So what I devised was, came on stage, told the people, look, Richie's not going to be able to make it. He's here, but he didn't make it in until 12 o'clock. We're going to do a party tomorrow to make up for it. We didn't even know what the party was going to be. And then we thought, Ferry Point Park in the Bronx. That was a spot that was like right off the water of the Whitestone Bridge. And we were just going to do an impromptu party the next night, 24 hours later. We made up some Kinko's flyers. We had all the people get on the phone. There was 1,000 people at Caffeine, so then the word got out quick amongst our people. So the Saturday night comes, and Richie does show up and play, but he didn't get there to play. He played from 4 to 6, and then the police came and shut it down. But he played 2 hours, so he actually did make the gig. But the PLUR thing happened right about 2 o'clock. I get on, and it's this like spinning thing. It looked like the Tasmanian devil just spinning. It's a guy and a girl fighting, and it's like a domestic thing, and they just spinning around. And we had all the gear on like a table like this solid. It was an IBM, like an IBM computer table. No, not a computer table, a workstation table from 1960. Something out of the Jetsons. This thing was like 600 pounds. So when they spun right into it, right? When they spun into it and hit it, it was like boom, but nothing skipped. I just jumped back, and then I was like, oh, really? And then I just jumped up on the table. I'm standing up. I don't want to really kind of do this here. Listen, I'm like, got on the mic, and I'm like, motherfuckers, you gotta show some peace, love, and unity. None of this stuff. What is this? Come fight me, you know? I gotta like that. And it's like, if you don't show someone some peace, love, unity, respect. I didn't say respect, okay? I'm not gonna say it because that means I would really disappoint. However, I said, if you don't start showing some peace, love, and unity, I'm gonna break your fucking faces, because come fight me, like, let's get this done. And then I got off and I think I played Spastic by Plastic Band, which was one of Richie's songs. And the rest of the night went all good. It was all good. I never even saw Richie Horton that night because I had to leave. I was all wound up after that fight happened. So I broke out, but I know, you know, Richie, actually Fred Gianelli, who's one of the artists on, what's the label? Oh my God. Sorry, Fred, I screwed up. I do remember when you came to the hotel, you gave me your EP FredX, and it looked like a FedEx logo, but it said FredX, and it was about his wife. But anyway, Fred Gianelli drove Richie Horton to the party. He played till the sun came up. Cops busted the party. That was that. But that's the night of PLUR. That's how that happened, and you know, we're going back to '93 on that.
So, what do you think about PLUR? It started that night. What do you think about its evolution and the things that it's come to embody in today's festival and rave scene, like in regards to like candy and other forms of rave practices?
Right. Okay. So I mean, the basic thing here is, if you've ever been at EDC in Las Vegas, you know they do EDC on a racetrack. It's Las Vegas Speedway, and they put a lot of money into these parties. I mean, a lot of people go. Like, I think 2016, like, you know, 135, 140,000 people a night over 3 nights, 400,000 people. But anyway, when you're in a party that size, it's like being like Great Adventure or Six Flags, any type of really big kind of like, you know, amusement park. And the PLUR thing is definitely apparent, but you know, the Candy Kids that came along and adopted it as their mantra, it's like when people see that end of it, you know, that's where people begin to not really believe it. Or but it wasn't designed for any specific type of person. It was designed for, and we're breaking into warehouses in the 90s. People are coming into these warehouses because of us. It's not like our house because we broke into it, but it is our house because we're putting people and music in places that haven't had sound in 20 years. So the general vibe is, if anybody starts anything, you got to look out for the man next to you, whoever it is. If a fight breaks out, if somebody passes out, and you know, that's the peace, love, unity, respect concept. You respect the people that are there because there's unity amongst the people. Everybody has love for the music, and you got to be peaceful because, you know, in New York, they had kids, gang kids, robbing. We usually kept them in check. It got a little unruly in the late 90s, but, you know, it went back, you know, it's basically always been a good scene. So, I mean, a couple, like, troublemakers come in, you shut them down, and you throw them out. Or in the beginning, we had 2 different map points. So the one map point would take the troublemakers somewhere where there was no party, and then the good people would go to the party with the right map, and by the time the pad kids found out about it, the party's already done. So, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's just basically about, you know, what it is. Peace, love, and respect. Don't go to a rave scene if you're just going there because you're going to pick up girls, or you gotta have love for the music. And I don't care if you like Skrillex or Deadmau5 or EDM or whatever. You basically been seeing, you've been seeing this, right, over the years, how EDM, it's still a huge part of it, but as you kids get older, get out of college, get into college, house and techno are the 2 genres that will never leave the scene. EDM, trap, it's all good. I'm not disrespecting it because I know the kids like the sub bass, I hear it, but when the mumble rap thing kind of entered with it, you know, now we're all mumble rap, Tekashi 6ix9ine, this, Little Pump, little Toe, little, anything but little, how many little this, little that, I mean, like, come on, man, like, the mumble rap thing kind of really commercialized it, where it doesn't fit in our scene, so The trap artists, if they're, a lot of them like to collaborate on stuff. It's not really what it's about, but to me, as you get older, the house and techno thing is always what it's been. That's from the beginning, Since '88, really, it's 30 years, so, yeah.
All right, cool. So, you're credited with bringing a lot of rave culture from Europe to America. So, how did that come about? Like, are you from Europe? Are you from America?
Oh, this is a good story. All right, so, basically, I'm going to go back to 1984. All right, so on my birthday, October 16th, 1984, I just turned 18 years old. The drinking age in New York was still 18. So I had a 6-week period where I was legal to drink from October 16th. They raised this law to 21 on December 1st. So I already had a job in the club. I was already there, And then all of a sudden, now the drinking age 21, I have no more job because I'm not legal to be in the space. I had 2 and 3/4 years now that I had what am I going to do? I got into producing music because that's all I had. I figured by the time I'm legal again, I'll learn how to produce and make records, and that'll give me credibility to get work in New York City, which it did. But I overcompensated, and what happened was my records just it was luck because of the timing. These Bones Brace records I was making were getting big in London as their rave scene was starting in '88. So by '89, when I arrived there, it was a full blown out scene. I was that guy. I was a guy from America that was making a lot of the music these kids were listening to. So I get to play this energy party in August 26, 1989. 25,000 people show up. And I was up and down the coast line, throughout the UK for the next 2 years, really. The scene actually blew up across, Europe, and I got to play in Germany, Italy, France, all these parties that were first happening. I'd be built on them, but here's where the baby is born. Okay, the baby we call the United States rave scene. 9 months after my first gig in the UK, I get a gig at the Mayan Club in Los Angeles, June 1st, 1990. So I go out there, I land. They book me through my English agency. So when I get off the plane, and the kid's like, how you doing? I'm like, yo, what up? I'm Frankie Bones. They're like, huh? They don't hear the English accent. They're like, where are you from? I'm like, Brooklyn. They're like, Brooklyn. They're looking at each other scratching their heads. They're like, wait a minute. Are you sure you're Frankie Bones? I'm like, yeah, I'm Frankie Bones. So it's like, I came from London. I'm here with you guys now. And they're like, what? No, you got a New York accent. There's something wrong. Call making phone calls. I'm like, Dad explained that basically I was from America, went over there, got big, and now I'm in Los Angeles as their scenes first starting. So basically, it was a big, I was like, guys, listen, let me just do what I have to do tonight, and then when done, we'll have this conversation. Because they were so confused. It was like, if I didn't come with the English accent, they wouldn't have booked me. So I remember do hey mate. I could have been like, hey mate, no. But after that night, at the Mayan Club, I played a warehouse party the next night, and this was right when Los Angeles scene was first kicking off. Now, a lot of people will sit here from the West Coast and talk about how San Francisco has very early roots in the rave scene. I'm not going to just deny that. However, I'm a very good historian. So on October 16th, or it was around my birthday in '89, San Francisco had a pretty large earthquake, if I remember correct, where half the city fell down. Cars on the Bay Bridge were going to not in the water, but the decks collapsed. And basically, if you start a rave scene in a place that had a major earthquake, chances are you're not going to be doing raves over the next 8 to 12 months. That's just me, but I know Los Angeles pretty much started the scene in America. Give San Francisco that credit too. They were around. I know Goth goes back, way back, and they were doing things, as early as 1992, but not 1992, but 1992. Not two, but teal, hey, got that cool. Alright, so in New York, my problem was we were already trying to throw rave parties, but everybody in New York it'll never happen like it did in the UK here. So I believe that. New York was a very violent city. It didn't seem like a rave scene could ever happen. But the minute I went in that warehouse party in Los Angeles and saw them cut the locks off a gate, put their own lock on and roll up this gate, I was like, if you guys are doing this, I could do this. So I went back to New York, and basically simultaneously the scene started on both coasts and spread towards the middle until 1992, 1993, every city in America had a rave scene. It just slowly crept into the middle. This also happened in Europe after the rave scene in the UK. It kind of slowly went through the the EU, most of Central Europe, until it became a worldwide thing a few years later. Now we find these parties all around the world. India has a large scene. I mean, like Japan, anywhere in the far, in Asia, there's huge scenes that go on there. So, this music is, come a long way. A lot of people involved in it. Lots of people involved in it. And I always said it's good. It's good for, it's good for the soul. I'm still here. I'm 52 years old. I ain't a kid anymore. If you're looking at me and I look a little like, old, well, no, I don't think that. I'll be here for a few minutes yet.
Well, cool. You've been with the scene from the start. You're here with the scene now. Where do you see the future of music festivals going? What do you see happening to the scene? Moonrays?
I mean, Moonrays, we're not going to make it to the moon yet. Not Mars yet, but I basically think we've seen it all. When we're talking grand scale of EDC or like Tomorrowland or Mysteryland overseas, these parties have become, epic parties. They spend lots of money to make these things really interesting. And, I mean, if there's one DJ in the history of DJing that I know you could look at, I always give Carl Cox that #1 slot. He always gets it. He's always had it. A lot of it has to do with me and Carl being friends for that many years. We come from the original scene in the UK. But Carl is a man that, basically was able to define what rave culture is where nobody else has done that, through the music. Basically, a lot of other DJs that are big came, a lot of trance, but Carl was always techno. It wasn't always like straight techno, but it was always like some house, some trance, not like if you're a DJ, you can't stick to one genre. You got to be able to know what other genres are, and then I always tell kids, look, especially your younger kids or teenage kids, and you loving Skrillex and trap and making beats and stuff, you get that house thing going a little bit and get into some techno, and you can still do what you do. There's tracks that have great beats in them, and just always expand your horizons. I mean, drum and bass too is another, drum and bass to me is like, of all the genres, that's the purest genre, because the people in drum and bass are core. That's why it's been around since 1991, 92. Those people are core people, and that sound developed in a way where they have their family and their camps and their teams, and there's enough respect for that. So it's going to not really change, though, I don't think, from here. It'll get better, and it'll get bigger, but, I mean, what more can we do? What haven't we done yet in the race scene? Is there anything we haven't done? I'm thinking about this for a minute,
Oh,
I think maybe, maybe let's do a rave in Fort Knox or something. That would be cool. We've already did the leg of the Brooklyn Bridge. I was sealed at that one, so... yeah, sick. Yo, Mike, why don't you come over here and sit right here? Yeah, you fucking tell me what.
What I think a lot of this stuff too is with the rave shit is, I never thought I'd see girls in the G-string, the furry boots, and the candy.
Oh yeah, reboot. Yeah. So was this good so far? I mean, like.
yes, fantastic.